Well, good afternoon, West Ham fans. Viva la Revolution. Yes, everybody, Russ on the West Ham Network. Hope you're all safe and well. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. The last full week of the David Moyes era, technically, as well. Obviously signed off the home, his last game at London Stadium with a 3-1 victory. First half was crap, second half was a lot better. Great for George to get on the old score sheet, and great for Kalen to get some minutes as well, albeit the last few minutes, but still nice to see. And obviously we look ahead now to the Man City game, which Man City are going to need to get something out of that game now by the looks of it, with the Premier League going down to the wire. So West Ham very much still involved in the chase of the Premier League title, albeit as victims to Man City at the weekend. But it's one of those games where I don't think many West Ham fans will really begrudge City turning us over, in all honesty, particularly if it means what it means for the North London side not winning. Anyway, as of this weekend, this will be the last game that David Moyes is in charge of a West Ham side for the time being, hopefully. Hopefully he won't require his services at a later date. But there is now discussion about what's going to happen with the backroom staff. Obviously, what tends to happen is when a manager, changes job, they tend to bring all their backroom staff, their favourite people, with them. Obviously, we know that under Moyes, we've got quite a British biased, I think, with the exception of Johnny Heitinga and Zoe Valero. So it's really going to be quite interesting to see who he brings in, although we do have a lot of clues in terms of what the likelihood is in terms of who's staying, who's going. Pretty much most people will be going, I think. There was reports over the weekend about sort of the available or the impending departure of Rob Newman, who's very much still there. I sat in front of him, or sat behind him in a under 21 game a few weeks ago. He looks quite jovial, but he's set to leave following the fallout of the David Moyes dismissal. And he's expected to be another sort of high-profile exit as the club obviously pave a way for huge changes at the senior level. I mean, he's done well to keep his job, really, since Tim Steining's come in, to be fair. However, it's been well believed and well documented that his relationship with the Brazilian market, in terms of that's very much where he set up all those networks with different clubs, that's what encouraged basically them to keep him there. So it's going to be interesting to see what the club do in terms of announcements, in terms of whether someone like Rob Newman, because I'm not the forgotten man, but he's sort of like, I think it'll be a bit of a side note on the website, in all honesty. But in terms of the rest of his backroom staff, obviously in the summer he appointed Johnny Heitinga, as well as Mark Robson got promoted from the academy squad, from the academy sort of set up into the first team, and also Henry Newman as well, another Newman, but a different, not related, I believe. They're all expected to leave. Shame about Johnny Heitinga. I think Mark Robson will probably more likely drop back into the academy setup. If there's a role for him there, but I'm sure he will if they can keep him on, because he is very much in tune with the academy and is always at the under-21s every home game at Rush Green. I didn't realise how small he was compared to David Moyes. David Moyes is quite tall there, isn't he? Elsewhere, we're led to believe that the iPad holder himself, Kevin Nolan, will most likely depart as well. He obviously has been with Moyes for the longest period, I want to say. I think so. Since Moyes' tenure at the club. And also Moyes' Scottish compatriot, Billy McKinlay, he's expected to be leaving as well. That tends to happen, very much a Scottish theme there. Obviously, we know that someone like Tim Steiner, he's brought in the summer. In the summer. sort of tail end of the transfer window onwards, brought in Moritz, his brother, to be head of international international recruitment, and Maximilian Hahn as head of analytics as well. And I think there's going to, I mean, they're two really, really good appointments for us, and I think they'll pave the way for some fantastic recruitment coming into the summer. Elsewhere, in terms of Lopetegui himself, well, he's the only Premier League manager, I think, or Premier League head coach when he's eventually signs. And I think that will happen next week after, something like that officially. But he's apparently still already working, but the official announcement has been made. He actually has his own website. Do you know that? JulianLopetegui.com. And in JulianLopetegui.com, he has a section dedicated to his team. And and pretty much, I think, at least 5 of them, if not all 6 of them, will be coming to a London stadium dugout near you very, very soon. So I thought let's go in and look at who these guys are, who these band of brothers are, who he likes to bring from pillar to post. And indeed, when he was at Wolves, he brought all of them in actually. If we start with top left, start with Pablo Sanz. He's odds on to join Lopetegui in the backroom staff. He's a former Spanish midfielder from Barcelona Academy and B-side, and is a long-time ally of Mr. J-Lo himself. He joined him at Porto as assistant manager, and also moved to the national team as assistant manager with him in 2016. He left with him and went to Real Madrid as his assistant, and then was appointed assistant at Sevilla, and he also then joined him at Wolves as his assistant. So very much Pablo will be his assistant, let's be honest, when it comes to his the official announcement about signing for West Ham. Interesting enough, he actually received a 1-match ban and a £6,000 fine following an incident with Nottingham Forest after he admitted improper or violent behaviour when squaring up to the Nottingham Forest assistant boss at the time, Alan Tate. So I'm sure you'll see some fiery. So he's all going to be a new Kevin Nolan by the looks of it, the one who's kicking off with everyone, or Billy McKinley, really, to be honest. Elsewhere, we've got Juan Piendo. He's also likely to join him in his new look backroom staff. He's the 50-year-old Spaniard has worked with him since 2022, including Real Madrid and Villarreal academies before joining. So he's been in coaching for the last 22 years, before joining Lopetegui in Sevilla and then on to Wolves. So he looks like a funny chap, doesn't he? He looks like a smile on his face. Elsewhere, Oscar Carlo is also another coach likely to join Lopetegui. He is the fitness coach and holds a FIFA Pro license, and also served under Lopetegui for the last 8 years: Spain, Real Madrid, Sevilla, and Wolves. For any of the West Ham ladies fans, you may remember Edu Rubio. He seems likely to join Lopetegui as well as a first-team coach this summer. He holds a FIFA Pro license. He also worked as a coach for Crystal Palace, the West Ham women's side under Paul Konchesky, Wolves, Crawley Town, MK Dons, Chelsea, Valencia, the Nike Academy, and also the FA as well. He was appointed assistant manager to the West Ham women in July 2022 under Paul Konchesky, and left in November the same year to join Lopetegui at Wolves. So Edu could be wearing the claret and blue once again, it does seem. Elsewhere, obviously, we've got Moritz Steindon involved. We've also got wasn't it Moyes' son? Was on the scouting network as well at West Ham. I don't think he'll be obviously staying, but we will have some nepotism still there in Daniel Lopetegui. He'll be joining, I imagine, the Hammers as well this summer. He is a analyst, basically. He joined Wolves with his dad as a performance analyst, and has actually been credited for the signing of João Gomez. which was just before the transfer deadline. He'd Lopetegui, or J-Lo rather, hadn't heard of him at all when he joined Wolves, but Daniel had, and had given me enough of a report and enough of analysis, enough of a presentation to convince him to go and conduct his own research on the player, and determined he liked what he saw, and actually went and purchased the midfielder, or the attacker. So that's going to be interesting to see how Daniel works alongside someone like Maximilian Hahn, who's very much, a leading light in that sort of analyst world. So it's going to be really good to marry them two up, and obviously then you've almost got a natural in with the boss, so to speak, haven't you? Because it's his dad. In terms of the current coaching staff, I also think someone like Alan Irvine, I don't think he'll be staying on either. Very much Moyes' right-hand man. He's been with the club. He was assistant manager before then deciding to take on a more of a backroom staff role in terms of doing a lot of scouting. A lot of the European scouting was accredited to Alan, and indeed signed a new deal in the summer, I believe it was as well. I think the only one who's likely to be staying is the guy who manages as, I think he's managed to stay there under 3 different managers now. Yeah, and Moyes twice. No, 4 times, wasn't it? I can't remember when he came in, but it's the goalkeeper coach, Xavi. Xavi, God bless him, Xavi Vieiro. He could well keep his role at the club under Lopetegui. When J-Lo went to Wolves, he actually maintained the services of the goalkeeper coach there, Dave Roberts at the time, and he's very much. It seems, looking back at his time with other clubs, the goalkeeper coach is someone he tends to keep, and keep that sort of relationship going between the goalkeeper and the goalkeeper coach. It's a very special relationship, and Lopetegui himself obviously was a goalkeeper, and actually has been known at times to take on and do goalkeeper sessions himself. He played 150 games in La Liga over 9 years, including representing Real Madrid, Barcelona, Rio Vallecano in the competition. And he also then made 168 appearances in the Segunda Division, 1 cap for Spain, and also was in the squad for the 1994 World Cup. So, very much a top goalkeeper. And so he does love a good goalkeeper coach. So Xavi, now I think Xavi either came in under Bilic. Was it under Bilic or Pellegrini? I think it might have been under Pellegrini. And obviously Pellegrini then sacked Moyes, kept him, and then obviously another job. He's not, I'm not saying he's not a cockroach, there's no expression, but he's kept there. So he's very well respected by the goalkeepers. So that's great to see. So that's your little rundown into the J-Lo revolution. It's going to be interesting. I'm sure we're going to see a lot more. I'm sure we're going to see a lot more ins and outs. But as I said, check out his website. It's in Spanish. It's bloody awful. It's definitely made on Squarespace or something like that. But so by his son probably on a project. But I think he'll be one of the first Premier League managers, if not the only Premier League manager / head coach to have his own dedicated website. But anyway, I'll be back for Hammer's headlines and also the Academy show later on today. Until then, take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith. Come on, you.